Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Brandon, and today I'm actually going to be showing you how to a little bit of routing on water methanol kits for a Focus ST. Mine's a 2017, but this should work for really any model year Focus ST for the MK3s. So let's see what we got. Okay, starting with the rear hatch, we actually have the methanol tank mounted to this inner fender section right here. All right, I did have to cut into both my WeatherTech mat along with the actual factory mat right here. As you can see, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up down here. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna be using yet, but we need to get that colored in. But still looks okay. Came out pretty well. Not really too worried about it. Okay, once we get back in the hatch, you can actually see here's the trunk, the tank, and then the line exits through the bottom of that, which is pretty common on most of the kits. And you can see I have quite a bit of cutting down here within the foam section. There's a lot of test fitting here. Originally, I was going to be installing the pump within this foam section, and you totally could. If you're going to do that, you're probably going to need 90-degree fittings for the lines. I was getting a lot of kinking when I was trying to do it, and I really just didn't feel like waiting on the lines, so I went ahead and installed the pump within the spare tire section. So you can see that here. And then this is just a temporary fix to help support the trunk because it's a little flimsy once you remove the spare tire. So there's the start of the wiring to the pump, and then I'm exiting through the grommets right here. So I drilled these holes, and I'm exiting right underneath the car. So I'll go ahead and show you where that's going to. Okay, once we get underneath the car, we can see that these lines are actually exiting right there, and they go over the rear suspension, and they're actually going to be routing in a large channel near the gas tank. So it's going to be right against the gas tank, and then we'll go ahead and go up here. And once you route from the gas tank, you're actually going to be able to come out somewhere near the factory fuel rail. And I'll go ahead and try to show you the best I can there. There's it right there. And there is a open slot available, at least there was on my car, on the factory fuel rail. So there you can see both the wiring and the methanol injection line. And that line runs all the way to the front, somewhere behind the passenger rear tire is where that end that cuts off. You can still see it right here. Okay, and then once you get around to this section, this cross member under the front of the car, I actually follow the frame section. Can't really get a good shot of it here, but it's actually going to go up near the front, the main section of frame, and then behind the passenger wheel. We'll see if we can get a glimpse in here. Let's see here. All right, there you can see there's actually the solenoid. If you're going to be mounting this in the trunk, you're going to have to be running a solenoid. And I just mounted mine right there behind the passenger wheel well. So it ended up being a pretty good spot. It's a little tight next to the pulleys, but overall it works out pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the front of the car. Okay, once we get to the front, you can see this white section down in there. That's actually part of the frame that I was talking about, in which the solenoid is mounted to. So that line will continue to run from the solenoid, and then I just run it up, and I start coming into the engine compartment. So, let's see here. Yeah, you can actually start seeing it wrap around down there. Let's see. Yeah, down in this section. And it just wraps up, and then I start following this frontal bracing section. There's the check valve install right there. Just a little bit added security for the system. All right, and then once we get that line just runs straight down and then up into a throttle body injection port. So it might be a little bit simpler if you do go with a cold pipe bung and start and inject from the cold side. But I'm injecting from the throttle body because the plates are really readily accessible. So yeah, there's my injection point right down there. Okay, and now we're going to move on to some of the wiring. Okay, on a stage 1 kit, and this is probably going to be somewhat similar. I'm currently using a Performance kit, but I believe the AEM kit is fairly similar wiring. They're going to use a relay, a main relay to control the components. And I went ahead and mounted mine right here behind the driver's side, behind driver's side headlight. It's a pretty good location. It's a little recess down in there, and I went ahead and tried to make a somewhat watertight plug. So it works out pretty good. Really, you could mount that anywhere you want to. I just wanted ease of access to unplug it for tuning purposes, because I'm actually not tuning for methanol, but when I do tune revisions, I want to not run the kit, so that makes it easy. So here's the line going to the battery. Actually tucks in between the airbox and this battery cover. You can see there's an inline fuse down in there, that 20 amp fuse, and then that just runs straight up into the battery and then is connected there. I also found this ground location. It's not really ideal, but it does work. So there's my main ground for the relay. Let's see. Okay. Now the boost solenoid, because this kit is activated via boost signal. I actually mounted to this little bracket here. You'll see it. It's on the passenger side strut tower section. And I just went ahead and zip tied that. You really don't want to hard mount those, as you can warp the diaphragms. So it's best to just zip tie them down the best you can. All right, so that wiring for the solenoid ties in there. And then I'm just routing, I have routing around the coolant reservoir, underneath, and most of my wiring and lines actually run along this front brace section. And then they actually route underneath this airbox section and then back to the relay. Okay, I can't really get the light to come on this camera. However, that line just continues, this wiring loom right here with the Oki Flex continues back, and it actually goes into the factory grommet. The factory grommet, wiring harness grommet through the firewall is actually directly behind the glove box on the passenger side. It's a little bit difficult to get to, but the factory glove box is actually fairly easy to pull. There's a lot of instructional threads on it, actually. I'll go ahead and link one in the description of the video, and you'll be able to see that there. But I'm going to go ahead and just show you the best I can of what's going on this fuse section. Okay, when you get down here, this is actually directly underneath the glove box. There's a small little cover you'll have to remove via these clips, and then it'll pull right off. This fuse panel right here is actually where you're going to get your 12-volt switch signal, 12-volt switch power. I believe it's actually fuse 85, and you'll be able to use an ATA circuit and just go ahead and tap into that fuse location. And you can see the ATA fuse right here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's the ATA fuse right there. And then this power line runs out of the car through the passenger wall, the grommet I just showed you, sorry. And then back to that relay. Also underneath here, I actually have some routing for a wire that's also feeding through that grommet. And it's actually, see here. It actually feeds to this LED right here, and what that is, that LED activates whenever the system is activated and injecting water-methanol. So mine's set to around 10 psi. You can change that from the solenoid that I showed you earlier. But yeah, that wiring right there, it actually runs down and back underneath the glove box. Okay, sorry the video ended a little abruptly, but that should cover about everything. I did forget to cover the fact that I use a Sound Composer Delete for the boost reference. That's typically the best place because it gives the most accurate readings, so I definitely recommend doing it there. You can splice off of the solenoid going to the hot side turbo. The hot side of the turbo, however, that location tends to fluctuate around 1 to 3 psi, so I really don't recommend that. If you can use a Sound Composer Delete, that's probably your best bet. I hope this video helped anybody. If you have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, y'all have a good one.